And we're back to Planescape Torment, here at Fel's Tattoo Parlor. Fel that has, expensive tattoos. Good, but damn expensive. We would probably like to get one... Yeah, to have like one of these. Higher presence and leadership or something. 2 to charisma. But yeah, 1200 coppers is a bit beyond our ability right now. By quite a lot. So let's focus on what we can get and what we can do for the time being. And move on out to the Smoldering Corpse. Angry Hive Dweller, Harlots, Thugs, Barking Wilder.
I'm gone.
And we've talked to him? I don't think so. This wild-eyed man is hunched over, snarling and giving low growls. Looks like he hasn't trimmed his hair in years. So long it forms a veil over his eyes. Has a long, stringy mustache, caked with grease and sweat, and the tips of the mustache droop so much that they have become tangled in his ragged beard. That sounds lovely. Greetings. The man stops mid-snarl and reaches up to part the curtain of hair that covers his eyes. And as his withered hand pulls away his dirty locks, several strange puce-colored bugs. What's puce? Fall from his chair and scatter across the cobbles. Pus? No, it's puce, not pus. Behind the cloak of hair, the man's flesh is moon-pale and creased with wrinkles. His thick, bushy eyebrows form a V as he stares at you. And might take the moon fly too? No idea. Tilt our head as if studying him. The man frowns, but his eyebrows tilt upwards. You have no idea how he accomplished the facial expression, but it makes you uncomfortable watching the muscles beneath his face shift into the new pattern. You can't tell whether he's angry, curious, both, or neither. Singed kiss speak a man. Answers prefer a woman. Would a woman heart? A single kiss speaks a woman's heart, but a man's answer is what you prefer. Ah, very well then, but know this, my answer is a question, and an answer from you is what I would prefer. The man seems mesmerized by your voice. With every word you speak, a light flickers in his eyes. Barking Wilder am I am a wanting a asking a may you may. Right. Looking for a lost journal. He frowns, squints his eyes shut, then opens back up. When he speaks again, his voice is level and straightforward. Just gained 1,000 experience. It's like a different, saner person is speaking. The effect is eerie. More than one lost, more than one must you find. Each part if you had one, so more than one must you find. I see. So we left our journals scattered around. Now that was worth talking to this guy for. He blinks and shakes his head for a moment, as if surprised at himself, then chuckles uneasily. Can you tell me where at least one of them is?
Updated my journal.
He looks like he is about to object, then suddenly his left fist comes up and smacks him in the temple. He howls in response, then suddenly stops, blinking. One is in a cupboard in your guest room in the Hall of Sensates. And another is on the walls of a tomb sealed deep beneath the city where the stones weep. Hall of the Sensates. A tomb beneath the city? With weeping stones? The others are... Before he can finish, his right fist comes up and smashes him in the face, causing him to yawl again. He blinks and shakes his head for a moment, as surprised at himself, then smiles uneasily. Hall of the Sensates. Where's that? Holds up his hands and doesn't seem to recall. Right. What about the sarcophagus? Looks frightened, then points upward with a hopeful expression. There? Yeah, he gulps. He doesn't seem to know, and for some reason, you believe him. Has some other questions, maybe. He claps his hands delightedly like a child at a festival, then gives a howling shout. Question! Question! What are you? Chaos. 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 Alright. He stutters out the word, as if having difficulty getting his tongue around it. Some say Xeocytex. I say Zetek sucks. What? Zetek sucks. Chaos men. Man, no. Nem, no. Men, yes. 3 knows men. Make a yes. What? He hunches down on his knees and begins to rock back and forth, singing in a childlike soprano. Chaos men, chaos men. Does whatever chaos men can? No. Hop along home of fiction it is, yet we are alone. Okay. He's a chaos man. May I join the chaos man? Looks at you askance. Shrugs, then bends forward to sniff you. Squats, stiff, leg damp, dank tramp cud. He snorts and growls to himself, sod. That would be a no. Right. Farewell, then. Well, that's a tree with one snap branch too many, says Morte. Rolls his eyes. How do you do that? No sense chatting with Xeocytex, chief. They're a barmy bunch. Really? They're a faction with any rules, except don't keep one thought in their head for too long. They're sometimes called chaosmen. No need to explain why. Yeah, quite chaotic. How do they get members? They just seem to attract members like flies. Well, members that are crazy or chaotic enough, I suppose. I don't think they have any recruiters. Oh, so that's why he was smelling us. We're not chaotic enough. Though you really can't say anything about them for sure. I see. Well, thanks for the information, Morte.
Looks like my skills have increased.
Really? What can you do?
What's up?
Litany of curses. Morte can draw upon his repertoire of insults to taunt an opponent until luring his guard and attacking. The target suffers penalties to hit and damage when enraged. Ah. Cannot target undead. Magic resistance is not affected, and they do not get a saving throw. However... Right. While the target is taunted, the target suffers a -2 to hit and a -2 to receive, -2 to damage. Okay. That's pretty good. Most precious gift is bestowed upon all those who are lost by the living. Limestone is able to cast it 3 times per day. Right. Restores life back to any slain individual. Like Morte here.
Yeah?
If he should die. Armed harlots.
All right.
Let's, there's, one of the thugs that attacked us earlier. Let's get him. Nine coppers. Oh, better than nothing, I guess. Amaris. Drunk. Is that the guy we're looking for? Probably. Who's Amaris? I don't know. Let's find out. You see a young woman dressed in a tight leather bodice and leggings. I like her already. She smells faintly of cheap perfume, and her face, though pretty, is painted with garish makeup. She smiles coyly as she sees you. Seeking some company, love? No. I don't stand there to answer questions of passers-by, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. Prostitute. Talk to the drunk. This man sways unsteadily back and forth, catches his balance for a moment, then manages a sickly, twisted smile at something just past your right ear. He's seeing two of us. Greetings! He nods slowly, then manages a phlegm-filled gurgle. And a small green-colored trail of drool begins to drip from the side of his mouth. Ugh. Running down into his scruffy, dirt-caked beard. Double ugh. He looks like he's barely able to stand up, much less carry on a conversation. Okay, so you're not... What's the guy's name? Jedi? Jalai, not Jedi. Jalai. Yeah, that kind of should be him, I guess.
Come see the burning man. He's on the spit. You'll love it. You, sir, come on.
Oh no, that's him. Not that drunk. I see a thin man with stained clothes, a hooked nose, and two stubby horns jutting from his forehead. He is stumbling about and muttering to himself. He stinks of brine, vomit, and cheap wine. That's, wow, what a combination. So, sea, vomit, and cheap wine. Are you July? If so, Craddock needs you back at the marketplace. Craddock? The man's eyes widen. Ah, Craddock. Me generous boss. Well, you can tell him I'm this. He can pike off, and that he's a filthy dog, a cur of the lower sort, and July is not working for him anymore. He jabs at you with his finger. Tell him that. Oh, tell him. Farewell, July. Okay, that's something. We did have more things to see in here, right? Wait a hep, Sevtai. Yeah, the starved dogs that we, Let's see. Smoldering corpse. Oh? We're being attacked by all these guys now? Really? Can we go inside? Yeah. Will they follow? No. Okay, so let's keep that advantage.
Done.
Move to attack us. Yeah, do that. One dead. Move away. That's not good. That's guys running away already. Okay, that's done. Yeah, this weapon is much better than what we had before. Ah, come on.
See that?
Okay, we got him.
Die.
Well, some more loot. Not worth much, I don't think, but some loot is better than nothing.
Come on in, buy a
Ah, that's actually worth a bit.
He's on fire!
Is there, no loot there. Okay. Let's just go inside. Drusilla.
Done.
That's an interesting Ignis. Appropriately named. Buy a gal a drink, scared man? If I can afford it. This is a woman with fading bruises on her face and arms and a look of despairing longing in her sunken eyes. She might have been a pretty woman once, but those days were long ago. She turns slowly to face you. Life pours into her features, and the spark of sardonic light that dances in her eyes now makes you wonder if your eyes were deceiving you. Welcome to the Smoldering Corpse, Guard Man. What can you tell me about this place? Here, this is the Smoldering Corpse. Though the person smoldering ain't dead yet. He's just keeping himself alive till someone comes along to help him out. Sods who like to see people in pain come here. Fiends like it. Folks who don't much care for being bothered come here too. That I am alone keeps out most of the bugs. Who is he anyway?
Updated my journal.
That despair you saw on her face before flits across it again like a black winged shadow before she masses herself. That's Ignis, one of the greatest wizards who ever to come out of this slummy excuse for a cesspool. They caught him and they opened a channel to the plane of fire through him. Now he's just a doorway for it. Oh, can we travel through him? That would be interesting. Keep himself alive by force of will alone. If someone could douse him for a few moments, it'd give him his life back again. But they don't make enough water to do that. Oh, there's no water in the hive? Really? Someone should be able to find something. Well. Can you answer some more questions for me? Actually, what's your connection to him? Her voice practically throbs with a deep ache. I was Ignis's lover and he my beloved. He loved the flame more than me, and now he has become the flame. And because I love him, I love the flame. But that's all done with now. Now I wait for him to douse himself. And sell what little I have just so I can be near him. Well, that's a never-ending tragedy. I have questions. I'm looking for a collector Feyrod. The Collector King. You can probably find him in the stinking ilk and the trash warrens on the far side of the hive. Yeah, I thought so. Just checking. That is where we will get him then. Ebb Creekness. That looks like a tough fellow. Kendrian. Metal table is scarred with talons, knives, teeth, and the mark of innumerable tavern brawls. Like the arid around it, it is warm to the touch. Everyone's named over here, so Alright. Ebb Creekness. You see a slightly stooped old man with a full grey beard and lion's mane of grey hair. He wears a couple of shoulder guards as armor, and he keeps a helmet nearby. He smokes a pipe and carries a pouch of tobacco around his waist. He looks pretty strong, but he's a little plump and also appears to have some sort of breathing trouble. Well, now aren't you a sight, lad? Never have I seen so many scars blanketing a fella, like a scar cloak you're wearing. Where you been, hanging out in Green Thresher? Ha ha! Yes, quite the jokester, yeah. What a sense of humor. Oh, I'm jesting with you, lad. No offense meant, and I hope no offense taken. I'm Ebb. He extends his hand. Greetings, Ebb. His handshake is firm. Well, he is at least a straightforward fellow. Now I hereby tender my apologies for the unfair jesting, lad. I hope no hard feelings. Can I buy you a tankard or two of something to smooth any ruffled feathers? Sure. That's the spirit, lad. Bide a moment. He rises to his feet and heads to the bar. After a moment, he turns to his seat with a pair of tankards. Here you go, lad. A drink up. He takes a massive swallow from his own tankard, puffs on his pipe, and says, "What can old Eb do for you on his fine sigil day?" Well, he is quaint. Had some questions. "Oh well, I gathered that just to look at you. I mean, you don't look like you're from around these parts, lad. You look like a little too out of sorts to be a seasoned native." He chuckles and then takes another drink. "So what can I help you with, lad? You need to know the lay of the land?" "Well, yeah. Tell me of the city. You might have an idea or two I haven't heard about." "You don't think small, do you? If you want to know what's outside the city, go talk to Kendrian." "Oh, the other guy over there, okay. He's the traveler of this place. As for the rest of it, well, I can tell you of the lady, the dabbas, keys and portals, and the way you keep track of time." "Oh, how about the layout?" "Whew, let me wet my tongue." He takes a pull from his tankard. The city floats above an infinitely tall spire. Right. The spire. If it's infinitely tall, is it not, I mean, a spire has a base, so... Okay. It lies on its side like a discarded wagon wheel, but there's no spokes that connect it to the spire. It's divided into 6 wards, each of them with its own function. Right now, you're in the hive. Oh, so the hive is a ward out of 6. Huh. Okay. I think the purpose of the hive is to be the squalor to the rest of the city's grandeur. He laughs. "Factions, philosophical clubs, or gangs, if you prefer, divide up the running of the city between them." "Were you in a faction?" Eb raises his hand as if to stop you and laughs slightly. "Oh, now hold on, lad. I'm no has-been faction member. They say, and they're right, that once you're in the Harmonium, you're a Harmonium for life. We're the bloods that try and make sure Sigil stays out of trouble. No rocking the spire, no folks getting too over-enthusiastic and about hurting each other and keeping the city down to a low roar." "Oh, so you keep peace, I guess." "We try and... Oh, yeah, that's this very next sentence. "We try and keep the peace, lad, and most times we do a decent job." Right. "What about the keys and portals? I've learned a bit, but Sigil's called the City of Doors for a reason, lad. There's portals everywhere. Portals are, well, like doors that lead across the multiverse. Yeah, like a fire universe right there. Except they don't look like doors. Instead, they can be any bounded space. Window, door, porthole, picture frame, barrel hoop, the spaces inside scaffolding, a wardrobe. Each could be a portal. Like his asshole, you might have to go through his ass into the plane of fire, waiting for just the right key to open it and take you someplace in the multiverse. Now, keys... Go on. Each portal has a key you need to open it. Now, while portals can be any bounded space, keys have more variety. They can be anything from a little tune you hum when next to the portal, to dancing a jig, to being in the right mood, to having a piece of the place you want to go in your hand, and on and on. So, I mean... If a portal needs a piece of the place you want to go to, if you've never been there, how do you get there? You might not be able to, I guess. In my youth, I once convinced a girl that kissing a man beside it could open a portal to Arcadia. Turned out I was right, and many trips to Arcadia did we have. Many portals probably have never been found. There are some you can uncover just by asking people and getting the right key. Finding out the dark of a portal is the toughest part. But I warn you, lad, portal hopping shouldn't be a pastime for a fella in your way, nor should you be wandering Sigil after dark, neither. You do best to stick to the main ways in open peak and watch yourself. Right, How about the lady? Do you know anything more? Well, now, not many know much about her, lad, and I'm figuring even those that know more than a little don't know too much more. She's a mystery, she is, and... even should you run across her, powers forbid, she's silent and deadly. She's not evil, far as I can tell, but she keeps the dark about herself and Sigil pretty tight. None's been able to penetrate it, and if they have, they've been mazed. Mazed as in, mind mazed into oblivion for eternity? What do you mean? Aye, sometimes bloods will be packed off to a place where they can't do no harm. The lady, see, she'll take a bit of sigil and make a little dimensional pocket out of it. A maze. She places those that have crossed her in there and lets them rot. Ah. Ebb puffs his pipe. Now, you can't escape getting mazed once the lady sets her gaze on you, lad. She'll get you eventually, no matter how hard you try and dodge her. You'll be walking down an alley or about to step through a portal or take a left turn down a street you've gone manifold of times before, and suddenly you're someplace you don't recognize. Now, mazes aren't escape-proof. There's always a way out of each one. A portal the lady places there. Yeah, just have to figure out where it is and how to use it. Well, that's something at least. I've got some other questions. What other places can you recommend? Well, this is perhaps the best kip you could have wandered into for the start, judging by your tattoos. You might be partial to having designs on your body, in which case there's a tattoo salon. Yeah, a little spyward from here. Yeah, just north. You want to stay away from the Dahlia. Yes, the Alexander's Angles. The name, I think, is self-explanatory. Ignis torched that place not long ago, and ever since... Oh, that's why there was that... Oh, all that burnt wood. I see. And a bunch of bad bloods have set up their kip in that stretch of desert. Interesting. Okay. And who are you? Oh, no. Who are you? Ebb Creekness, third measure of the harmonium, now retired and being tattered with one's voice since I don't step as lightly as I might have these past 2 or 3 decades. Now, lad, who be you and what trouble might you be in? Third measure of the harmonium? Ebb puffs up slightly in pride and gets a semi-stern look on his face. Aye, third measure of the harmonium. He relaxes a little. Though I haven't served a tour of duty in many a decade. Pushing a quill wasn't quite up my alley after all the fights and skirmishes I've been in. So I just bide my time, keeping tabs on things down here in the hive and helping out a little where I can. And you look like someone who might need a hand. Are you in some kind of trouble, lad? Well, let's keep questions to himself. What fights and skirmishes have you been in? More than I can remember, lad. Well, almost more than I can remember. Leastwise. I did an all-too-long tour to the Blood War. That infernal muck-up world lies on Terrace. Far too many years in the Black Centuries War. Ebb begins to tick off the wars on his fingers and counts silently to himself. And then there was the Three Plains War. It's just random war names. And many others, and I even took part in the Harmonium War of Liberation, yeah. Towards the end there, I was also in the Sigil City Watch. Some could argue that was the most dangerous of them all. He laughs loudly. Hee is how you imagine it. The mention of the Blood War feels like a cold dagger slipping into your heart. Tell me more. The Blood War. The most dangerous family food at the side of primordial soup. A mean-spirited mob of fiends on one side, a batch of warmonger fiends on the other. So fiends on fiends. It's the war that creation sparked, and they've been digging at each other ever since. 2 set of fiends. The Tenari, vicious killers who care for none but themselves, and the Baitazu, war machine, all for law and order under infernal rules. The whole mess spills out on other planes from time to time, and it's made the multiverse a less pleasant place to live in. Right. Nothing else, I guess. Let's talk to the... Kendrian. You see a soft-looking man with gentle, far-staring eyes. He dresses in supple leather clothing, carries various implements of use and destruction about his body, such as ropes, spikes, tinderboxes, and empty vials of air. He looks half gone. Literally. Yeah, he does look kind of transparent. There's an insubstantiality to his existence, as if his essence has been partially leached away. He focuses those eyes on you, and suddenly you find them gripping and determined. Greetings to you, O Seeker. Greetings? He carefully sets down the mug he's holding and gives you all his attention. I have seen the far reaches of the multiverse and returned to tell the tale. I have walked upon the bodies of dead gods and spun moonbeams in the astral ahead of 1,000 shrieking Githyanki nights. I have passed the edges of existence and watched my essence shiver away from me. What is it I can do for you? Oh man, this guy is full of himself. Imagine if before presenting yourself to anyone, you sort of put out a highlights version of your curriculum vitae. I have some questions. Perhaps I have answers for you. Speak and I shall tell you. Right. I met a woman named Ingress with very bad teeth. She said she had come through the portal of some sort of world that was opened by a tune hummed near 2 crossed trees. Can you get her home? He pauses briefly thinking. I know the portal of which you speak, though I have not traveled and it is 30 years gone. I will take her home, Sika. Go tell her to await my arrival. Then meet me back here and I will tell you if I was successful or not. Oh, okay. Well, we'll
Updated my journal.
do that, I guess, after we've talked to some other people here, that is. Alais, or Alay. You see a trim, muscular man dressed in clothing that is comparatively drab and mundane compared to most of the outfits you've seen in the city. Alright, humble. He carries himself with an air of supercilious arrogance. Oh, not so humble. He also looks dramatically out of place. What do you want? He asks. Who are the patrons of this tavern? I have met only the elder little Ebb Creekness, who has been instructing me in the ways of the city and the plains. Well, plains are a homophone, though not a homograph. How would you know he would spell it wrong when he says plains, but alright. Minor nitpick. My foe's spell must have catapulted us far across the world, for I know of no plains near our former location. Okay, now we understand that he meant plains as in the type of terrain. No. Plains as in planes of existence. They are planes of the imagination, of thought and belief. They're not physical prairies or grasslands, but other dimensions. A look of confusion passes across his face. I understand. What the old man said is starting to make sense. Excuse me, I must think this over. Farewell. Illquicks. You see a short, rotund man with a perplexed expression on his face. From the lines of an loose skin, it looks like it's not too uncommon. He carries a flagon of ale that looks like it's in process of being emptied rapidly. And between swallows, he speaks in a gentle voice, so quiet that you can barely hear his words. My name is Illquicks. Can I be of some assistance to you? Greetings. I would like to ask you some questions. Who are you? I am but a humble man with a slight it's for supernatural. I regret that I have none of my supply here. I would be most eager to teach you the ways of power. Man, that hurts our throat. My throat too much to continue. Yes, I'd like that. For now, though, I have some other questions. What did you want to know? What can you tell me? The Smoldering Corpse Tavern, a fine establishment with a fine owner. Barkus is a true gentleman and ambitious to increase the standing of the to boot. These, I feel, are most qualities, blah blah blah. Many would agree with you. Farewell. Barkus it is, okay. You see a leather-skinned man with just a hint of ashen color to his face. His teeth seem sharper than normal. Don't most people's here? And his eyes are filled with the boredom that comes with having seen too much. Blasé. His voice is nasal and clipped. You again, huh? What do you want this time? Again? Oh, he's seen us before. What do you mean? Yeah, you again. You got a hearing problem or something now. You was in here about 15 years ago. Good memory. Got all bubbed up, smashed up the place, and left a pile of coin that wasn't enough to pay for the damages. Oops. So you plucked your own bleeding eyeball and tells me he's got our eyeball. You'll be back to reclaim it when you got 200 coins together. With 15 years of interest, you got about 500 coins. You got the jink, pal, I got your eye. Oh. I don't have that much, sorry. Then you're not getting your eye back. Make sense? Come talk to me when you got the jink. Right, so we need money to get our eye back. What is this place? Didn't you see the sign out front? Didn't you see the Burke running over to the furnace when he came in? It's the Smoldering corpse cutter, best damn bubhouse in Sigil. At least it's the best damn bubhouse in this part of the hive, which makes it one of the best in Sigil. Hell, they got fancy places with plants and such in the ladies' ward. And they got fiendish taverns solid across the rest of the hive, but none of them got the character of the Smouldering corpse. Who is the corpse? Him? Ignis. Used to be a flame wizard. Now he's a wizard flamed. Burned down pieces of the hive, got himself scrammed by a bunch of other mages. You want to know more about him? Go talk to Drusilla down there by the door. Yeah, I already did that. And, what about the patrons? I don't make it a point to interfere with the lives of the people who give me their hard-earned chink unless they ask me to. So, over there is Kendrian, Planewalker. He's a good one to talk to about any planewalking questions you might have. He's been pretty much everywhere. Down there is Zeb Creekneys, an old harmonium basher, don't hold that against him and a tout. He's got a good heart in him and he knows Sigil up and down. Them fiends over there are Ethelgrim and Tegarain. Ordered advice, don't deal with them. They might be low rankers in the fiend hierarchy, but they're still fiends. Then you got Ilquix over there, not trustworthy, and some mercy killers looking some poor sod. Dakcon the Githsadai is a mystery to me. Don't know much about him. Don't talk much. Finally, you're interested in earning some free bub? Yeah? There's a bubber over against the far wall, hanging around in the shadows. Been trying to work up her courage to slip out without covering her tab. I don't want you to make sure you don't do that. You do it, and you got free buff for life. Well, that's a very lively tone he's got there. Not blasé at all, and doesn't treat everything and everyone the same monotone, couldn't be bothered attitude. I'll do it. I'll let you know when I'm done. So I need to talk to someone, Mercy Killer Patron. Huh. Who are they here to kill, I guess? We don't want to know? Not for now, at least. Oh, who's oh? You see a man standing stock still. He isn't moving a muscle. On closer examination, it appears that he isn't even breathing, just standing. His eye sockets are empty holes in his face. Ah! Contained within their bounds is a flat gray light that seems to dance with possibility. Looking into the sockets, the eerie, empty feeling of limitless void shivers through you. As if you had gazed into a sliver of eternity and it had gazed back into you. The head slowly swivels toward you. You notice that no muscles appear to move under his skin as he turns, and he speaks in a pure bell-like tone. Well met, wanderer. You've forgotten again, haven't you? Not at all creepy his voice is, isn't it? Ha ha ha. Another guy that knows this, apparently. The infinite void within. Not sure we should engage, but do you know me? As he opens his mouth, you get that feeling of eternity again. Inside his mouth, you see no tongue, no teeth. It's almost as if this man were a shell surrounding an Illimitable expanse. Right. Don't French kiss him is, I guess... Don't poke his eye? Yeah. I have spoken with you before, and always you forget. Your endless quest to discover yourself ends always in your amnesia. You draw close to the truth and recoil. Let us hope that you have the strength to endure your existence. Well, this time around, at least. What do you know? How do you know it? I know that you, like a fly, rise up from the wreckage of your old shell, buzz about for a time, and curl up and die at the window of truth. Yeah, seems like we've just been doing the same thing over and over again. You bumble about the pain, seeking the light without any plan to your actions, and fall exhausted when you fail. You alight on others to feed from them for a time and move on with no regard for them. I have watched you come here and listen to your words and watched you move away no wiser. Will you learn from your mistakes, Seeker? Who are you? I am... Oh! For some reason, when he speaks his name, oh! He sounds like he's speaking of much more than a single letter. Oh, like a... Ooh? Not quite sure how to read that. As if the speaking of his name contained untold possibilities and nuances. No human tongue could ever create such a sound. Challenge accepted. What sort of name is that? It is my name. It is the name of a portion of eternity. Wouldn't that be an Ouroboros or instead of a no? I am a letter in the divine alphabet. Understanding me leads to understanding existence. I am a writ in the true names of half of everything. My being encompasses truth. I am mathematic, organic, metaphysic. And that means what exactly? The divine alphabet is written in the name of everything that exists, from the seed at the hearts of the elemental planes to the core of the great beyond. My brothers and sisters, a single word translating the two in your mind. Okay. The brosis? The cisbro? And I reach a call across all that is, was, or ever shall be. We are thought and reality and concept and the unimaginable. He's been reading too much Lovecraft. Tell me about the great beyond. Well then, he would know the secrets of existence, right? I know parts of many of them. Without a connection to my brosis, I am but a letter. Alone I am a symbol. Combined we are language and power. Right, then you know not much. How about some questions? What of this divine alphabet? Oh, that's what you said before. What about the patrons? The patrons of the place are varied yet all mortal. Like all mortals, their concerns are limited, with the potential of blossoming into actual truth. I can tell you this, though. You may find a companion dear to your heart here. At least as dear as your heart will allow. Really? My thanks. It did come out as a bit of an insult, but I wonder who that is. The man before you is old. His dry yellow skin has the scars of one who's traveled everywhere and never rested long in any one place. His pinched face is inhumanly angular, and his ears sweep out from his skull, tapering to points. He wears a loose-fitting orange tunic, and a strange, shimmering blade is strapped across his back. Ah, one of those that doesn't realize that's probably the worst place you could keep a blade. If it's too long, you can't even unsheath it properly. The blade looks to be a two-pronged glaive. Really? Two-pronged glaive. How... Isn't that just a knife with a sharpened tang or something? Not sure. The blade looks to be a two-pronged glaive made of some metal whose surface swirls like a film of oil on a pond. Huh. That's odd. Greetings. The man turns to you, his eyes like polished coal. He stares through you, and for a moment you wonder if he might be blind. The weapon certainly turns it dead, flat, black, mirroring the man's eyes. Literally, they turn black. Are you alright?
Hail, traveler.
Oh! Voice recording? He's important. Black eyes and black blades. He says nothing for a moment, merely searches your face with his eyes. Hail, traveler. His voice is quiet and somber, like a wind whispering through the branches of a great tree. Hail.
Your eyes have the weight of one who has traveled far to be in this place.
Right. He met our gaze, eyes burrowing into yours. Weapon drained of the black color, resuming its shimmering. Ah, okay. You could say that. The man's gaze does not waver from yours. I am known as Dakon. The emphasis he places on the word known strikes you as odd, yet familiar at the same time. You are not known to me. I am a visitor. Dakon is silent for a moment, still studying you with his cold black eyes. The planes number many infinities, yet you are here. I would know why you have come to the city. I am looking for answers, and I have many questions. Speak your questions. I will hear you. What is the speed of an what was the the bridge keeper? What is the airspeed of an unlaid swallow or something? What? An African or European swallow? What are you saying? Have you not watched Quest for the Holy Grail, really? You don't know what you're missing. Monty Python, my friends. Monty Python. Speak your questions. You seem to have placed a special emphasis on knowing. What do you mean? All things, whether structure or flesh, their existence is defined by their knowing of themselves. And if a man does not know himself? When a mind does not know itself, it is flawed. When a mind is flawed, the man is flawed. When a man is flawed, something else is flawed. That which he touches is flawed. Yes, I thought so. Dakon pauses. It is said that what a man flawed sees, his hands make broken. That's not quite haiku and not quite Yoda, but yeah. Same family. Do you know yourself? Do you know yourself? Oh boy. Dakon falls silent. His cold black eyes take on the same distance that you noticed when you first spoke. Never mind, I had some other questions. Your features are unfamiliar. What are you? A Githzerai. Githzerai? A Githzerai is one of the people. What people? A Githzerai. Yes, but what are they exactly? Dakon is silent for a moment, then speaks. Our history does not need to be made known to you. We would bleed to death on Time's blade before I cited a fraction of the histories of our people. I don't need to know your history, it's just how and what you are now. Dakon is silent for a moment. Know this and accept it as an answer. We are the people who make our home upon the shifting plane of limbo. With a deft motion, Dakon slips the blade from his back and holds it before him. Okay, let's watch. There, we mold the matter of limbo with our minds. We forge cities with our thoughts. As you watch, a series of rippling waves of metal begin to roll forth from the center of the blade. Really? Liquid metal? Is he a Terminator in disguise? The pitch and crest of the waves match the inflections in Dakon's voice. Non-Newtonian fluid metal? In its chaos we dwell, with only our knowing to preserve us. We are the Githzerai. What is that blade? It moved, shifted in response to your voice. It is a Karak blade. It is an object that lets others know the rank of the wielder. Karak! What does that mean? Dakon falls silent for a moment again, as if searching for the correct words. He likes to do that slow processing time. Needs more RAM. In your tongue, or faster processor. In your tongue, the closest translation is chaos matter. The people may shape it with their thoughts. How do you shape it with your thoughts? Karach is not shaped by heat, but by knowing oneself. It is a mirror that reflects the will of the wielder on its surface and in its edge. When one knows themselves, the blade is strong, harder and stronger than steel. When one does not know themselves, the blade is as water, formless and weak. Let's see Klingon. Maybe in another life. And what does the rank signify? The blade is a symbol carried by the Zerth. A Zerth is one who knows the words of Zerthimon. And knowing the words of Zerthimon, they know themselves. Man, this is just one strange word after another. What is Zerthimon now? Zerthimon founded our race. He knew the Gistrai before they knew themselves. He defined the people. He gave them one mind. Right. Interesting. Okay then, bye. As you turn to leave, the man speaks sharply. The first time you have heard his tone change since the conversation began. Hold! Doesn't say how the tone changed, so free to interpretation. The man's voice levels out. It wasn't level until now? The city is not known to you. I would travel your path with you. Really? I accept.
Your path is mine.
That blade should be useful, I guess. Strangely enough, his voice seems distant, and it echoes, as if he was speaking from across a great distance. Well, maybe he is far away. In a different plane of existence altogether. In a different plane of existence. Come on, guys, all together, I said. Ah! Right! Well... we have Dakon with us. And he blinks oddly indeed. Huh. Wasn't expecting to have another party member from this place, but I'm thankful we do have one. He's a warrior, fighter mage. Dakon's Zerth Blade. 2 to 9 slashing, +1 armor class. Usable only by him. Right. Limbo itself is a soupy mass of elements, and only through force of will can the Githzerai shape these elements into stable matter. Oh, it's the substance. It's called Karach. It's a material that can be shaped with the mind. And has religious significance for Dakon. He has wound a series of parchments around the hilt. They are mantras dedicated to Zerthimon. Right. Interesting. He sounds like someone that watched the movie Zardoz. If you haven't watched that movie, it's odd but interesting. Odd but interesting. Well, party of 3 now. And a lot more to explore. But that is going to be next time. Till then.